You take the first breath, and the clock starts before you even exhale. Within seconds, the molecule is in your blood. Within minutes, it is in your brain, and it walks straight up to a system almost nobody knows exists. Not the pleasure system, the volume system. This is what actually happens in there, hour by hour. Your brain has a crew whose only job is to turn things down. Every second, millions of signals fire, and most of them are too loud. So the receiving cell writes a note and sends it backwards to the cell that just shouted. The note says one thing: quieter. That note is a molecule called anandamide, named from a Sanskrit word for bliss. And it has two features that matter more than anything else in this video. First, it is made on demand, right where it is needed, and nowhere else. Second, it is destroyed within seconds of being read. It is a message written in disappearing ink, hand-delivered to one single door. That is the whole design. Precise, local, temporary. Now here is what THC actually is. It is the same key, cut badly enough that it still fits the lock. It slides into the same slots anandamide uses, called CB1 receptors. There are more of these in your brain than almost any other receptor type. But THC breaks all three rules at once. It is not made where it is needed. It arrives everywhere, through the blood. It is not local. Every room gets the note at the same moment, and it is not temporary. It does not dissolve. It sits there for hours, so the volume goes down across the entire building and stays down. That single sentence explains almost everything that follows. Everything else in this video is a consequence of that one difference. Minute 30, peak. And the first room to notice is the archive. Your hippocampus is where new experiences get written into storage. It is packed with CB1 slots, which means it takes the heaviest dose of the message. The result is very specific, and people describe it constantly. You can hold a thought. You simply cannot file it. You walk into a room and the reason is just not there. You lose the first half of your own sentence. Nothing was deleted. It was never written down in the first place. Your recording department was told to be quiet, and it obeyed. This is the single most reliable effect in the entire literature. Hour 1. And now something stranger happens to time. Ask people under the influence to estimate how long a minute is. They consistently say it has already passed when it has not. Time feels stretched. 5 minutes feels like 20. Part of this is the same archive problem. Your sense of duration is partly built from how many moments you remember. Break the recording, and the ruler you measure time with bends. And part of it is the timing circuits themselves getting the same quiet message. You are not experiencing more time, you are measuring it with a broken instrument. Which is why the hour that felt endless was only ever an hour. Hour 2. Your heart rate has been elevated for a while now. 20 to 50 extra beats a minute is common, and it can last for hours. Your eyes are red because small blood vessels have widened. And down in the hypothalamus, that same quiet message is doing something else entirely. It raises the hunger hormone and sharpens your sense of smell. This is not a joke about snacks, it is measured, repeatable biology. Food genuinely smells better, and your body genuinely believes it is hungrier. The hypothalamus was never asking for your opinion. And here is where people get badly caught out. Smoked? This whole story starts within minutes. Eaten? It goes through your liver first. Your liver converts THC into a different compound, one that crosses into the brain even more easily. So it takes 30 to 90 minutes to begin and then lasts 6 to 8 hours, which is exactly why the classic mistake is to feel nothing and take more. By the time the first dose arrives, the second and the third are already in the queue. Almost every emergency room story starts with that one sentence. Hour 4. Smoked? This is where it fades. The receptors clear. The volume comes back up. But the molecule itself is not gone from your body. THC dissolves in fat, not in water, so it moves into fat tissue and leaves slowly, over days. That is why a test can find it long after the effect ended. Being clear-headed and being clear are two completely different measurements. Now run this daily, and your brain does what it always does. It adapts. It sees slots that are permanently occupied, so it removes some of them. Fewer doors for the quiet message to knock on. That is tolerance. And it is physical, not psychological. The same amount does less because the hardware changed. And here is the part that almost nobody hears. Brain imaging studies found that those receptors come back. Within roughly 2 to 4 weeks without it, the count largely recovers. The building rehires the crew it laid off, which means most of this is a loan, not a sale. So here is the honest summary of what is happening in there. A precise, temporary, local message, replaced by a permanent global one. Memory writing turned down. Time measured with a bent ruler, appetite and heart rate turned up. Judgment quieted along with everything else. None of that is mystical. It is one system being held open. Your brain is not broken by it, and it is not neutral about it either. Next time something in your body feels effortless, ask which system went quiet.